Hello folks, I hope that you are having just a great day in your life today. Today we're going to be taking another look at Arthur J. Burks. And we're taking a look at this collection called Black Medicine. And we're taking a look at his short story, Desert of the Dead, which is the second short story in here in this collection. So we'll be taking a look at it. This represents most of his horror stuff. It was published by Arkham Press. He was a writer in the pulp era that wrote a lot of stuff for Weird Tales and other horror pulps, and he was big. I came across him because he was a writer that H.P. Lovecraft had a story called Bells of Oceania that he considered to be one of the best horror short stories that was ever written in Weird Tales. And in an anniversary issue in the early 30s, after going back and rereading all the horror stories from his Weird Tales collection, he chose the best ones. And Bells of Oceania by him was chosen by that. And then later on he would write to some of his friends and fellow writers about what he would put in his ideal horror work. And you can see in this collection that I have H.P. Lovecraft's favorite Weird Tales. This was written by an editor that said, okay, what if, we actually did that for you all, put the Lovecraft story into a collection. So I have it here, and I've read everything in there. And I've done reviews for like half the stories in there. And it includes a lot of classics like Willow's Battle John Blackwood. Ambrose Bierce has a couple stories, that sort of a thing. You also have several popular stories, and I really enjoyed Bells of Oceania by Arthur J. Burks. So I did some research in the Burks. I was hoping to find a collection, and I dug for a while and just was unable to find it. So I bought a collection that I've been doing the occasional story in, the 100 Ghost Stories collection. And then I also did a novel of his that I've read, but I haven't but I haven't published a review yet because it's a science fiction novel. And then I've done this, and this is my collection, Black Medicine. It was published by Arkham House. I found it. I was like, yes, I found a collection of him. I really enjoyed Faces, which he also has done for him. So I enjoyed the two short stories I read. So I read this, and the first short story in his collection. I read it a couple of days ago, and I didn't like it enough to publish on. I felt it was only probably like maybe a 5 out of a 10. But this next story, Desert of the Dead, I read last night. It's 9 pages long. Took me 13 minutes to read. I'm in my oversized collection, Black Medicine, and that was incredibly quick. So I knocked it out yesterday, 7 out of 10. So I did like it enough to bring it to your attention. So I'll be reading the third story in this collection. And if it's like the first one, who knows? But if it's like the second one, or the other two that I've read, then we'll continue to read this collection. So the story that will be written for you again is called Desert of the Dead. So it's going to open up in Santo Domingo, and we're going to be opening up with our protagonist. Our protagonist is somebody who is new to the area, and he has heard about this Desert of the Dead, and he is an explorer, so he wants to find it and explore it. This does seem to be written roughly contemporaneously with the publication of the story. It's not dated, it's not in a journal. There's no year given, but it does seem roughly to be contemporaneous with the story that I'm reading. He hears about the Desert of the Dead, so he starts asking locals about it. And he hears they'll cross him as they talk to him. They'll cross his shoes, his footprints. He is himself behind his back. And they won't tell him anything about him. They won't tell him the path to get to the desert. They're just like, don't go to the Desert of the Dead. It's bad juju. There's a reason it's called the Desert of the Dead. So he comes across this one guy who's from a local town as he's out there walking, and the guy says, don't go there. And he sees him crossing everything that he has, including his footprints, as he leaves, to make sure that he doesn't. And then he stumbles across a dead path on the road that's all covered up. It looks like it hasn't been taken in a long time. So he grabs his machete, starts to cut it down, thinking that might be the route to the Desert of the Dead. And after a couple of hours of hacking his way through the jungle, it widens out, and yep, he's overlooking a desert. He has arrived at the Desert of the Dead. So what will our protagonist find in there? And what's the bad things? And as you know, in any horror short story, when you're told by locals that, to stay away from something because it's dangerous and you go there anyway, it's going to be dangerous. They're going to be right. That's a horror story. That's how it goes. So what's going to wind up happening? Why is the Desert of the Dead so deadly? Why has it been told? And what's going to wind up happening to our protagonist? Those are the questions that you can find out by reading Desert of the Dead by Arthur J. Burks. And there you go. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read the short story or the collection, Black Medicine? I would be more than happy to engage you with it further in the comments below. If you like this video, hey, why not hit that subscribe button? Because there's going to be a lot more of these to follow, I promise you, in fantasy, science fiction, and horror. And then finally, hey, I just want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're being pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling. And I appreciate it. Thanks again, and have a great day.